Hello, YouTube. I wanted to shed some light on a topic, the topic of a show. That show being Walking Dead. Walking Dead season 10 and 11. Now, a lot of people have expressed their hatred for these two specific seasons at the end here. Now, I'm going to talk a little bit about why I like them a little bit at the end here. And on top of it, Walking Dead, it had its fan base in the beginning, and a lot of people started to hate it when it towards the end. Excuse me. A lot of people hated it towards the end, and that being specific reasons such as whether it being Rick not being there and getting taken away on that helicopter, or Glenn dying, getting his brains bashed in from Negan, and I think a lot of people they don't like it because Negan's not there. No, I'm sorry, not Negan. They don't like it because Rick's not there, and they don't like it because Glenn is not there. But what's really interesting about this show towards seasons 10 and 11 is that you really start to like really get into the mind of Negan. Really get into his brain, understand how it works. It's sad what happened, and you understand that along the way, and they got him like doing gardening and shit. He's locked up, and he's basically like a slave working for them, working for Daryl and working for Michonne. And I wanted to just shed some light on this character, Negan. Now, I know he's hated. I do. I know he's hated. I hated him for what he did to Glenn. I did. But I can't help but to feel some bits of intrigue to this character. When he's protecting, like he protects, what's her face, who was the daughter from the Whisperers, the daughter of the lead of the Whisperers, Alpha, the daughter of Alpha. I can't help but to feel intrigue towards this character, Negan, because he wants to protect her. And we find out that he basically regrets the mistakes that he's made, though I don't really think that he considers them mistakes to begin with. He was a man who had his own army, and he wanted to protect his army. And there were boundaries, and they were crossed, which he said along the way. Now, the biggest shit show was that show that came out with Maggie and Negan, which was Dead City. A heaping pile of dog shit. And I don't say that lightly. Dead City was a heaping pile of dog shit. It was nothing. It was a whine fest. It was basically a crybaby fest. It was a fest that said, hey, let's put these two characters together and let's whine for the whole season. No sticking together, nothing. that show sucked. I'm not gonna get into that right now, but um, I can't help but to feel a sort of sympathy for the character when we reach season 10. And despite how much I miss Glenn, um, you really start to see a difference in this character and how change is going to come eventually. And how this new girl from the Whisperers, Daryl cares about her. Daryl grows a sense of fatherly care for this girl from the Whisperers. Um, what's the girl's name? I forgot the girl's name. I actually forgot the girl's name. Damn it! I remember Henry liked her, but it'll come to me. It will come to me. Things just come to me naturally. So, but Lydia. That's it, Lydia. I like Lydia. You know what's kind of funny is she kind of looks like Rick's wife. Like if you really look at her in the face, she looks like Rick's wife. I always thought that was kind of funny. But again, this is me shedding light on some of the new characters of Walking Dead. Um, Negan gets hated on a little too much. I think that he's changed along the way. I mean, throughout the way, you can see that he's changed. I mean, for example, Aaron, our character, with the with he has a sort of a spike ball for a hand because his hand was cut off. Uh, Negan, um, when they were at war with Negan in the earlier seasons, Aaron's boyfriend died, and Aaron holds Negan um, responsible for that, as he should, which I don't blame him for, and for Jesus dying, of course. Jesus died. Um, it was just an all-out battle. I mean, things happen, and the funny part is Negan saved Aaron's life in the cabin there, watching over him. Um, and I can have some respect for a character like this because it's a character that we saw as a bad guy, and then we see him sort of like become better along the way and like do good things and protect certain people. But it almost makes you think like all these characters were thinking this exact way. Negan was thinking the same way that Rick thought. Like he wants to protect his crew. It was just about protection. That was all it was about. That's all it was always about. I mean, Aaron would have to be one of my favorite characters on the Walking Dead series, for sure, along the way. Um, a very, very good character, Aaron. I do like, obviously, Daryl is in my top favorite. Rick was, but now he's out. So we don't know what the hell. Well, now with that new show out now, Walking Dead: The Ones Who Live, which I have checked out, by the way, and I do highly recommend, by the way, Walking Dead: The Ones Who Live. I highly recommend that show. I watched the first episode, and I have to tell you, I was intrigued. I was intrigued. It's going to be different. You know, it's a different world. It is not the same. It's not the same world anymore. You know, there are other cities that will. I'm not going to give away spoilers, but just watch The Ones Who Live. Do so. Sorry, but it was a good pilot. I will say that it was a good pilot. There was character building, and you really rooted for Rick. And let's just say that there's something big in store for Rick. And Rick will find Michonne and Judith, which we want, which was what we should have gotten in the show to begin with. But they had to do all these spin-offs. You know, that's the problem, is why not just do the show? Why do all these spin-offs? I don't get it. There was no reason to do 11 spin-offs. There was no reason for it. Just finish the show with what you want to do with the spin-offs to begin with. Just, sorry. I think that the spin-off is good. Dead City is shit. It's dog shit. You can't change my mind. Change my mind. Dead City is a crybaby fest. It's a crybaby fest about how Maggie is sad about Glenn, and Negan just wants to move forward, and it's just a crybaby fest. I couldn't get into it. I couldn't. And you can't change my mind. But Walking Dead, I do like. I've always liked Walking Dead. I've always liked it. And anything zombie, really. Anything zombie related. I mean, for example, what I have here, Last of Us. My favorite video game. Also wanted to shed some light on this video game because I just got this as a gift for my sister, Maddie. And got it for PS3. It works well. But again, the story, it's more about the story. The story, they didn't change the story. The story went one way, it stuck to one way, and that's the way it should be. You know, Joel cares for this character, Ellie. He wants to get her to safety. That's the story. Boom. Now keep that the whole show. Oh. And I do like the show that they made. I don't really have any criticisms about it. I'm trying to think. I guess. Okay, one criticism that I guess I do have about the show, Last of Us, is, I mean, we didn't see a lot of bloaters. We didn't see a lot of clickers. We didn't get that full-on survival of the fittest, zombies attacking you, you're trying to get away fast, adrenaline feel. We didn't get that same feel with the show. We really didn't. No. I'm not. Bella Ramsey did a good job, and Pedro Pascal did a good job. But again, we needed more zombie kills or something. It was lacking something. I think that it was a little bit too dramatic, but I think that it will build up as it goes. So it was only the first season, so I think it'll get better as it goes. But right now I'm still recommending Walking Dead season 10 and 11 because they're really good seasons and a lot of people hate them. And I don't get the hate. I really don't get it. There's good character building. Okay, we got the Whisperers, this Beta, the scary motherfucker who wears Walker's skin on his face, which is actually a buddy of his that he's wearing on his face. That's twisted. I just like the backstory. There's a lot of backstory. And Walking Dead fills you in on the backstories. And it's hated because, Rick left and, Glenn's not in it, but, and I understand the pain of that character not being there. I get it, but the show went on. It went on for 2 more seasons. Or I think when did Glenn die? Glenn died what, season 7, 8? I mean, it was a while ago. I mean, compared to where I am. I mean, I do think some light deserves to be shed on this series a little bit. And Maggie's character, who's now I don't want to say a widow, because I mean they weren't married, first of all. I mean, Maggie's just she's a tough bitch. I mean, so many characters you lost along the way. You lost so many along the way. I was actually kind of hoping to see Daryl and Connie get together. But the way that I'm starting to feel is before I felt like I wanted to see Daryl get a love life going, but then I started to feel like, you know what? I don't think that this character is meant for love. I think he's just an all-out badass. He's a warrior. He's not scared of anything. He'll kill you. He'll stab you in your fucking face. That's just how it is. And I can get behind that. I can get behind the character that Daryl is. He stayed the same since season 1, from my opinion. Yeah, there were some times he was a little softer along the way, like with Beth, for example, who became somewhat of a little sister to him. Daryl's somewhat of I guess another sister form, or I didn't think they were ever going to get together, so. But I will say, I feel like some people talk trash about season 10, 11, and it sucks because, first of all, if you've talked shit about season 10 and 11, I don't think you've watched them all the way. Because if you do watch them all the way, you'll understand the characters better, and you'll understand Lydia and Negan, and there is so much depth. There's so much depth put into these characters. You actually start to feel bad for Negan, believe it or not. And one thing I can say is you kind of start to root for Negan a little bit. It's hard to believe, but again, so there's two groups. There's the Whisperers, and there's Michonne's group. And they took in Lydia. Lydia from her mother, who is the lead of the Whisperers. And the Whisperers are still out there. And you kind of start to feel for this girl, though, because you find out along the way that it's not really her mother. She took her as a child, as a daughter, and fed her as a daughter and stuff like that, but it wasn't really her blood daughter, from what I understand. And Beta, oh my god, that's a big bad motherfucker right there. The fight between Beta and Daryl was memorable and deadly. And oh my god, just Daryl pulling out knife after knife after knife, and Beta smashing through walls and shit and throwing Daryl around. Like, I thought Daryl was gonna die. I did. But again, I'm just kind of rambling. But I do recommend Walking Dead season 10 and 11 because I feel like people joke about it a little bit, and they hate on it, because you got things like the King, and you got like, I don't know, just like weird things. Like, they started riding horses, and it started the kind of medieval along the way. But I promise you, if you do hang in there, you will enjoy it. I hated on it. I did hate on it, but I liked it when I watched it because I started to understand the backstory of these characters, which is important to me. I want to understand the backstory of these characters. I want to know what they're about. But Negan protects Lydia. Lydia's getting bullied at the camp, and Negan steps in and saves her. Actually, throws the girl against a wall, accidentally kills her because her head hit the wall, and I guess it caused some sort of brain damage. I don't know. I don't know how she died that easy. I guess that was just for dramatic effect. I don't know, but she was dead, which gives Daryl an opportunity to go and talk to our supposed antagonist, Negan, who is in a jail cell. And you could see that Daryl starts to level with him a little bit, and they start to not get close. I don't want to say get close, but they start to see eye to eye a little bit there, on that topic, and with him protecting Lydia and just protecting the camp in general, and just there's some good characters in there. Aaron, I would say Aaron is the best character to come in. That's of the newer crew, and there's some other ones too. Like there's a music teacher who has a guitar. He's kind of funny, and there's this girl and this other girl who are a gay couple, and they're dating, and they're cool. I like both those characters. And Connie, who is our sort of deaf girl, who Daryl befriends, and you kind of want him to get with her, but it never happens. But overall, it's a good season. Season 10 and 11 are highly slept on. Well, you can say that Walking Dead, the first 7 seasons, are highly overrated. I will say, in which I agree with, they're overrated. Walking Dead is overrated. I get you on that. But I could also get behind that season 10 and 11 are a little slept on, and the character building works out nicely. And you kind of start to root for the bad guy, who you thought was a bad guy, but who was not really as bad as you think. That being Negan. And I'll get hate for that. I will get hate for saying that, but it kind of turns out that nothing was as it seemed. I mean, Negan was just doing the same thing Rick was doing, when you think about it. And I like Rick, and I miss Rick. I do. I was shocked to see him and Michonne have a sort of affair. And, of course, getting our youngest character, Judith, out of it, who's a little badass, who was taught how to sling swords and, decapitate zombies. But yeah, I wanted to shed some light on that topic a little bit and say that I think you should give it another shot. So that's my review for it. I mean, you could hate it, okay? Or maybe you've watched it and you already hate it, or maybe you didn't give it enough of a chance after season 8 or 9. Well, I recommend that you give it another shot. Do with it what you will, I guess. But I mean, that's my review. Walking Dead season 10 and 11 are watchworthy. That's my review.